Do you look at your calendar with a growing sense of panic? Do you look at the list of events that you have coming up and instead of feeling excited, you have this deep sense of dread? Do you look at your to-do list and just feel completely overwhelmed? There's more things on the list than what there was at the beginning of the day, even though you've been working really hard. Then you are not alone and you are in the right place. My name is Christine Wood, and this is the Living with Margins podcast, where you will find biblical encouragement for busy Christian women. This is episode number 2. I spent a bit of time early this week just updating my calendar, just going through our family digital calendar and writing all of the events down in my paper planner. I like to use a paper planner. And to be honest, looking at the time from now until June, there's a lot going on. There are so many things on my calendar list, and there's a lot to do. I was having lunch with some friends after church on Sunday, and we're going on a trip together later in the year. We were trying to make a time where we could get together in the next couple of months to talk about our trip. And we must have spent 20 minutes comparing calendars, saying, no, I can't do that day, and no, that weekend's not going to work for me, until we finally found this random Friday night when we can finally get together. Everybody is so busy and everybody has a lot going on. It's really normal. But the sad thing for me is, even though so many of the things in my calendar are really good things, events that I'm looking forward to, projects that I'm passionate about, because there's just so much, I am feeling stressed and tired and overwhelmed instead of excited about the months that are coming up. So today I want to talk about 3 key questions that I can ask myself to help me to find the highest priorities in the calendar and in my to-do list, in the things that are on the list for the next few months. These questions are just going to guide me, and I hope that they're an encouragement to you today as well. Number 1, what can you delete? There are so many things on our calendar and everything seems really important. But the reality is there are things that we do, that we feel obligated to do, that we feel pressure to do, that we're in the habit of doing, that don't actually need to be done. There's this great quote from Peter Drucker that says, "There is nothing so useless as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all." Isn't that so true? We have so many great productivity systems in our world, and they are great. Those systems help us to be productive and make the use of our time. But all of them seem to be designed to help us to get more done. But what if we thought about, rather than how to get more done, think about how can we have less to do? So let's ask ourselves the question, what can we delete? What can we say no to? Are there invitations that we can decline? Things that will go ahead even without us? What are we doing that we're doing out of habit or out of obligation that aren't actually the things that we are called to do, that we are passionate about, that are our highest priority? So let's consider on our calendar, on our to-do list, what can we delete? Question number 2, what can you delay? I don't know about you, but I grew up hearing this saying all the time. Never leave till tomorrow what you can do today. It's a great saying, especially for those of us who are prone to procrastination from time to time. But what if today is already full? What if today is already at capacity? Sometimes we need to ask ourselves, what is on the list today that we can put off until tomorrow? What are the deadlines that we can push out How can we give ourselves a little bit more time in some of the projects that we're working on? I can't tell you the number of times that I pushed out the launch date of my book that I wrote. Life just happened. And rather than pushing myself to exhaustion, making myself sick, or publishing a book that I wasn't 100% happy with because it wasn't 100% ready, I pushed out, I delayed the launch date, the publication date. And it was a really wise decision because in the end, even though it happened a few months later than I would have liked, I have a book that I'm really proud of that is fully complete because I gave myself the extra time that I needed. Not everything needs to be done according to our original plan. Not every goal has to be achieved in the year that we set out. Sometimes life happens and it's a wise thing for us to delay. So let's look at our to-do list. Let's look at the projects that we're working on and ask ourselves honestly, what can we delay? And question number 3, what can we delegate? This is really interesting one because we value so highly being independent, being self-sufficient. And that's great. But the reality is there's no prize in heaven for doing everything all by ourselves. It's actually okay to ask for help, to delegate, to get a team around us to help us to do the things that we need to get done. Many of us have people of our friends and family, people in our tribe who have asked us to our face, let me know if there's anything that I can do to help. Have you had people say that to you? I know that I've said it to people, and with 100% genuine willingness to help. But how often do we actually ask? We just don't, because we pride ourselves in getting everything done by ourselves. I was reading, just in my normal Bible reading plan this morning, I was reading Numbers chapter 11, and Moses has this monumental whinge to God. He basically says, God, this is too hard. It's too much. The burden of leadership is too heavy. I didn't give birth to all of these people that you gave me to lead. This is too hard. And basically, at the end, Moses says, God, if it's going to be like this the whole time, then just kill me now. It was really extreme. And I feel for Moses. The burden of leadership that he had placed on him was heavy. But God didn't say, you'll be right, Moses. You just get up and keep going. I will give you the strength that you need. No. God said to Moses, go and find 70 men in the nation, 70 helpers, 70 other leaders, and I will give them my spirit, and they will help to carry the load of the leadership burden. God showed Moses how he could delegate the weight, delegate the responsibility, delegate the mantle of leadership, to ask for help, to spread the load. It's a really important biblical principle. And to be honest, it takes a lot of work. It's harder often to ask someone to help you because you've got to train them and teach them, and it can take more time to build a team than what it initially takes for us to do things by ourselves. But in the long run, it's so much better for us. An example of how this could play out is even just simple things like in our families. Rather than delegating specific tasks for our kids or our husbands to help us, it's better if we learn to delegate responsibility. So rather than saying to our child, Johnny, I don't have a child named Johnny, but for argument's sake, Johnny, can you take out the rubbish? That's delegating a task. And hopefully, Johnny would be able to take out the rubbish. But what if you said, Johnny, you are responsible for the next month or however long, you are responsible for the rubbish. So every time the bin is full, I'm not going to ask you. You are responsible. You are in charge. It is your job to take out the rubbish every time it's full. So then you don't have to ask. You don't have to carry the mental load. You don't have to organize. It's up to Johnny to take care of the rubbish. In this empty nest season of my life, I have delegated things with my husband, Murray, and it works really well. I don't do the dishes and I don't vacuum and mop the floor. That's up to Murray. And sure, we help each other and, we cover for each other at different times. But overall, I never have to ask to do the dishes or to have help with the dishes. And I never ask to vacuum the floor. I just know that it will get done when Murray wants to do it. And it works really well. I went out to see a friend the other day, and when I came home, the floor was clean. I've delegated the responsibility and I've delegated the mental load that goes with that. One of my favorite verses is Micah chapter 6, verse 8. And it says, "What does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God." In a world that piles and piles on the responsibility, in a world where we value performance and success and achievement, in a world where productivity and busyness are celebrated, we can just come back to basics. We can learn to delete, delay, and delegate so that our hearts have space for the things that are most important. And God makes it really clear to act justly, do the things that are right, to love mercy, to care for the people in our families, the people in our church, the people in our world, and to walk humbly with God, to day by day cultivate a relationship with Him. This is how we create a life that has the space for what is most important. This is how we live a sustainable and enjoyable life. We can delete the things that don't need to get done, delay the things that are less urgent, and delegate, ask for help, and share the load with others in our lives. Most of us don't need a complete overhaul of our lives. We just need a little bit of space. It takes courage to say no, to cross things off the list, to push back deadlines. But it is so good when we have space in our lives to be healthy and to enjoy each day. We don't have to do it all. We can share the load. God bless. See you next time.